my plan today, and maybe this is why there are those who are missing or are not here, is that I noticed just how quickly you guys have been moving through this project. And so what I decided I would do today, because there are some of you who are finished completely, some of you who are so close it's not even funny, is that I would go ahead and talk about the next assignment. And then when I am done talking about this, if you feel like your puppets are, all right, one more. Wow, what was up with today? Yeah, but you're not the only one. There were 0 people sitting in front of me at 10 o'clock. Now I've got 4. So anyway, I'll go back to what I was saying, is that my plan today, since there are so many of you who are so close to being finished, is that I was going to go ahead and talk about the next assignment. And then when this is over, if you feel like what you have is finished and you don't feel like you have any work to do on it today, you're good to go. I'm not going to hold you here to work on something that's finished. If you feel like the time in class would do you good, you want to keep working on it in class, stick around. Or if you're at the point where you're thinking, you know what, I could finish what I've got to do at home. I don't need the stuff that's here in the classroom. I'll just work on it at home between now and Friday. That's okay as well. All right. I'll stick around for anybody who wants to stick around, though. So anyway, our next project, which as you can see is due November 12th. I just realized I need to change that 100 to 50 points, is, again, based on your children's book. I want you to create a movie poster, in quotations, that advertises your chosen children's book. Consider what kind of information should be included that will grab the attention of the viewer and make them want to see this movie, quote unquote, without giving away the entire plot of the book. Your materials: 19 by 25 inch colored paper. Those should be in the second to last drawer over there. There might be some in the drawer above it as well, but it needs to be a colored sheet of paper. Your initial, so like with the puppets, right? Your first material was cut and pasted paper, yarn, what have you. And then secondary, you could bring in markers, crayons, what have you. This time around, paint, markers, crayons, that sort of thing is your primary material. And then should you want to have any cut, collaged items on there, you can, as well as any of the arts and crafts items that are available in the room or that you may have yourself, and any other materials. You might think of something that I haven't thought of, right? So let's what I'm going to want you, well, first let's take a look at a few, like a selection of movie posters that I grabbed for what kind of information one usually is going to find on those, right? You're usually going to find the title of the movie, duh. There'll be some sort of image, either of the actors completely divorced from what is happening in the movie, or there might be a scene from the movie itself. And then what I am also going to want you to include is a tagline of some sort. Not all movie posters have that, but a lot do. Like this one, "No one stays at the top forever," for Casino here. I'm going to also want you to either create your own sort of pretend date that this film is going to release, and on that movie poster tell us that it's going to be released on that date, or give us the whole coming soon or coming spring of 2023 or whatever you want to write. But I want you to have that in some fashion. So here again, we got the title, right? We've got a tagline. mishaps, mayhem, adventure, oh joy, misadventures rather, oh joy. You got the characters here, and then Jim Carrey's kind of thing happening, and a date, December 17th. Right. Again, the Jaws and the Thing movie posters. They have their taglines: terrifying motion picture from the terrifying #1 bestseller, the ultimate in alien terror. Right now, these two don't necessarily seem to have a coming soon or a date on them, but in yours, I want you to include that. The Lego Movie, assembling February 7th. This isn't necessarily a representation of a scene from the movie, but it does sort of showcase all the characters in the sort of city where everything's going to happen. And there's a tagline: the story of a nobody who saved everybody. And then assembling February 7th. So there's a little kind of a joke there, rather than coming February 7th. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. He has two taglines on this one. It's scrumdiddlyumptious, and it's everybody's non-pollutionary, anti-institutionary, pro-confectionary factory of fun. This one doesn't seem to have a date on it, but again, in your case, I want you to include that. So, by past students, now some of these will have the coming soon. I'm sorry. Some of these, I was looking at the picture and said coming soon. Some of these will have a tagline and some won't, because there have been there in the early times that I had this project, I didn't think of that. But then I started thinking a little bit more about what might we want to use an assignment like this to sort of teach the child. And one thing is, if they've read the book and have a good grasp and understanding of it, then coming up with some sort of a tagline for the movie poster can showcase their comprehension of that book. And sort of familiarizing, like all of us are very familiar with, I would imagine at least, how those taglines of movie posters are written. They're written to give you a hint at what you're going to get and get you interested in the movie, but not give away everything, right? And so in the classroom, one could introduce the students, if the students aren't as familiar with that kind of language. Like, what we could have been going through and being like, all right, how did our, whoever made this poster get us interested? What kind of things did they write here? What do these words that they wrote down make you think about? What does it make you think you're going to get in the movie? And then thinking about how to take that same kind of language from the book that you've just read and give us something that's meant to draw our attention, make us want to see the movie or read the book, but doesn't tell us everything about the plot. So this is one that does, right? So Tacky the Penguin, coming in 2013. And then they have a tagline: Tacky was an odd bird, but a very nice bird to have around. Why are we not moving on to the next one? All right. This one doesn't have the tagline. This is one from when I hadn't thought of that aspect. But they do have the coming soon, right? And they decided to get creative with it. They gave themselves like this pencil and just put the coming soon inside of that. And as you see, with these, paint is the main material being used, but crayons and markers are welcome as well as any sort of collage that you want to bring into it. Curious George rides a bike, coming April 2012. Again, there's not a tagline on this one because it would have been before I thought of that. Are You My Mother, coming May 1st. And in this case, right, because we looked at the examples, and in most of the examples, either the star of the movie was listed, the star or stars, or the director was listed. So if you want to include like either the name of the character as a star, or the book author and or illustrator as director, you can do that. Corduroy. Now here's somebody doing the same one as earlier, right? The Who Are You My Mother? But they did it at the time when I was asking for taglines. It was find out who she is on June 16th, 2012. Is that the last one I have? I thought I had more examples than this. Maybe some of them are saved somewhere else and I need to find them. All right. So, movie poster should treat your book as if it's going to be some sort of coming attraction to see. You should be thinking about what kind of image is needed on the page and how do you do it in a fashion that's similar to what you might expect from a movie poster. It must include an either coming soon or a date that you might have, or something like this, fall of 2013. I want you to have either a date or a coming soon. That should be on there, and a tagline of some sort that is meant to entice us in, get us interested in the movie, and showcase that you understand what happens in that book. Not such a difficult thing for those of you, in your late teens and early 20s, but something to really get a younger child thinking about that they might not have thought about before. Those, like I said, are due November. What did I say? My brain's not wanting to come up with it. November 12th, right? So what, about 2 weeks away? Two and a half. All right. Questions about it at all? Okay. So then, as I said, if you feel like what you have of your puppet is finished, because we're not working on them on Friday. On Friday, we're going to take a look at them and talk about them, but we're not working on them. But if you feel like what you have is finished, you're okay to go. Or if you feel like you can finish it on your own without using what's in here, you're good to go as well. If before you go, you want to go through the drawer and pick your color of paper for your poster, you could also do that, and you could set it aside up in the rack up there before you leave, or take it with you if that's what you want to do.